Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Marc Fonzetti. I am the CMO and CRO of Scuti. We are a new e-commerce platform. And why do we need another e-commerce platform? It's because none currently launched out of the video game ecosystem are built for the metaverse or are launched out of virtual worlds. They've historically been walled gardens and not the easiest to advertise in unless you want to fork over 7 figures to have a really cool brand integration. But if you're looking for scale and ROI, there hasn't necessarily been the best opportunity for that. Quick background on me, and then I'll get into the presentation. This is not my first startup, but it's the first one I'm all in on. And what I mean by that is I'm a corporate guy. I have been with the Brand Innovators team in 3 different ways over the last 10 years. Like many of you, I was a client. I ran advertising, media strategy, and investment for Reckitt Benckiser North America for 5 years. So all of the Mucinex and Lysol ads and all that good stuff, that was thanks to me for a few. When I was there, I actually really got into digital innovation and moved a bunch of money to online video. And that made some waves in the industry, and that really excited me. I saw a trend, and there's an interesting chart I have up here where I saw time spent with online video was starting to surpass TV, but no one was advertising in that. So there was a white space, and we see a white space with e-commerce not being available in the video game and the metaverse worlds. Last but not least, I was also the head of media for Verizon. I did that for 5 years. Still have a home in Basking Ridge. Happy to be here on stage today, though. And moved into the entrepreneurial world a little bit ago. I mentioned with Reckitt Benckiser, I was kind of spotting these trends and moving money. So now I'm actually in the opportunity to spot the trend and build something to actually make a difference. And like I said, without further ado, you'll see exactly what I mean. And here's a little video that I actually directed. So media guy turned director. Who would have thought you can do anything with your life?
So many people do be cool, man, look smarter. Don't hold back. And you shouldn't even care about those noses in the air and the crooked stairs. Don't hold back. Cause there's a party over here, so you might as well be here with the people kid. Don't hold back. World, don't hold back. You're holding back. The time's come to. You're holding back. The time's come to. You're holding back. The time's come to. Time's come to. Time's come. Time's come. Time's come. Time's come. Come to galvanize. Don't hold back. If you think about it too much, you may stumble, trip up, fall on your face. Don't hold back. We think it's time you get up. Crunch time, like to sit up. Come on, keep pace. Don't hold back. Put apprehension on the back burner, let it sit. Don't even get it lit. Don't hold back. Get involved with the jam. Don't be a prick. Hot chick, be a pig. Don't hold back. World, you're holding back. The time has come to. Don't hold back. World, the time has come to. Don't hold back. World, the time has come to. Push the button. My finger is on the button.
The setup was to explain a bit about the evolution of commerce and innovation throughout human history. So I was going to cover 14 billion years in about 4 minutes and get up to e-commerce and video games and all that cool stuff. So I'll just take you through the deck without a soundtrack. A couple of years ago, we started building the tech for Scuti. But fast forward to 2-3 weeks ago, and one of the headlines on Ad Age, gaming is going to be the next big thing. We see Xbox is finally doing in-game integration within their platform. And marketers have been waiting for these opportunities for a long time. And what's cool is Scuti actually, back about 2 years ago, when our tech was reviewed by the gaming industry and the PR folks in that world, they said, we have fixed monetization by letting gamers earn rewards and buy goods from in-game stores. And so how does that work without interrupting a player experience? I'm going to tell you all about that. But first, this is the chart I was alluding to earlier. Time spent on television and streaming does not even combine to equal the time spent that people are playing video games today. And then if you look at the dollars, I mean, it's astronomical. 60 billion, almost 16 billion versus 1.5 billion. So again, I see a white space here. I'm going to date myself a little bit, but when I was a media planner on Procter and we were spending everything on TV and magazines and this internet thing was happening, we saw charts just like this, and it was like, I think it's time to start moving some money. I mentioned when I was at Reckitt Benckiser, exact same chart, but the bubble on the right was streaming video. So I said, time to start moving money. And as I alluded to before, we're seeing it again, so now we're actually just going to build it for you all. G-commerce, that's a new term. It means game commerce. So we got really creative and switched the E for a G, and we're going to trademark that. So hopefully you'll hear a lot more about G-commerce in the future. But tapping into the e-commerce market, it's a $5 trillion market. The video game industry is almost a $2 billion market. Tons of opportunity. I'll talk to you about the eyeballs there in a moment, but Scuti actually combines both of them. Again, this is something that hasn't been done before. You probably know that the video game market is very exciting, large, lucrative, but it's also mass. Over 200 million US adults are playing now. It's 75% of households, 80% of Gen Z and millennials. I mentioned the $5 trillion spending power, and unlike the old image of video gamers, the teenage boy in mom's basement, so not the case. It hasn't been for years. 60% of mobile gamers, which is what we are going to be focusing on for our hard launch, and I'll share that timeline with you in a moment, are females, and the average age is about 30. So video games have become representative of the US population, and it is now time to help everybody get over the walled garden, as I like to say. We've done some independent research, and 51% of players reported that they would actually buy physical goods while in their games. When we did our own research, that number was actually like 90%. So I thought that wouldn't be fair to publish, so we went to a third party, and it was audited, and it's still over half the folks. So they spend a lot of money, they're mass, and they want to buy, but there hasn't been an opportunity for this before. So this is how the Scuti marketplace works. We never interrupt the game experience. We launch from the game lobby, and I'll talk more about this. This would all be happening on your phone or your PC. It's a marketplace that looks, think Amazon mixed with social media. You can scroll forever. We're going to jump back up to the top. In this category, today's deals, I like those shoes. It kind of look like what I'm wearing now. You get Scutis back. That is our digital currency, and I'm going to talk a lot about that on the next slide. That's the binding glue of what's going to make this ecosystem work. You're saying, I could buy these shoes anywhere. I could buy them directly from the manufacturer. I could go to Amazon. I could go to the store. But what none of them do is reward the player back. If you think about it, video games is one of the only industries that isn't fueled by rewards. All of your credit cards are, your coffee is, your food shopping is. I don't know. I go to ShopRite. That's I'm spacing on another one, but anyway, think about it. Everywhere you go, you get rewarded for stuff, and video games have not done that. So we're going to do it holistically, not just within one video game. So we're going to be the coin of the video game ecosystem. What that means is, as players come in, they transact in e-commerce. They interact with other forms of advertising, whether it be lead generation, coupon downloads, app downloads. We have a hard KPI for pretty much every brand. players earn these Scutis. They can redeem them for physical products, so they have a cash value, and we're working with a variety of companies to get tied to the blockchain. So it'll actually be a legit crypto. But in the current reward that we are defined as, the Scutis are interchangeable for any, as I said, physical products. So if something is $50, I have $20 in Scutis, I cash that in, I only pay $30 for the actual hard good. Where this really makes it symbiotic in the ecosystem is the in-game and native credits. So say you're playing Candy Crush and Scutis eventually tied to Candy Crush. You can take the Scutis that you earned from the marketplace launching out of Candy Crush or any other game, and go into any game that is tied to Scuti. Again, I'll go through what our network looks like, but these Scutis can be switched in or redeemed, I should say, for Candy Crush gems, Fortnite V-Bucks, anything. So it is a universal currency that can be used for in-game and can also be used in the physical world. And that's what Web 3.0 is all about. It's tying your digital and your physical worlds together. We talk a lot about the Metaverse. It's being built. He'll finish that, I'm not sure. But we're built for Web 2.0 with Web 3.0 in mind, and I'll talk about all the different platforms that we're going to go into. Okay, so once a brand signs up and becomes a part of Scuti, we build your brand store. So when you saw the first demo, there's a better one on the sizzle, but hopefully we'll get that to you, like I said. You have deals of the day, but then based on the game you're coming from, based on the profile that we start to build on you, we're going to start serving you different stores, different opportunities, or of course, if you click on media, you can go into a specific brand store. We work with an e-commerce backend, so we tie directly into whoever your e-com backend is right now. It pulls directly from your platform into ours. So we know inventory, pricing, all that good stuff. It's a simple integration, and like I said, we have a KPI for anything, whether it be direct sales like e-com or G-commerce, the app downloads, lead generation, couponing, what have you. We've created a lot of different ways to make any media buy within the Scuti marketplace directly attributable to a sale. The product pages, very elegant. We templated off a couple of the big guys, but again, as we have this e-commerce integration on the back end, we pull everything right into our system. So it's our wireframe, it's your images, it's your verbiage, it's your legalese. We're a dropship platform, so we are like a merchant of record if we're doing e-com for you, and we will take the order and it will batch right through the back end. You get the brand gets that information, and then they actually deliver the product, just like would happen in like an Amazon and some other large marketplaces. Media, we are a big media platform. We have 32 different categories, and once we want to get the e-com set up for you, I should say anybody who I speak with as a follow-up to this meeting, we're in our soft launch right now, so we're going to waive any setup or integration fees. Which can equal tens of thousands of dollars, and just get you started with e-commerce so you can get an understanding of how the platform works. And then when you want more traffic, of course, there's media, and then it's a standard media solution. As the media guy, we have very, very appropriate media targeting and reporting options. Age, gender. Then we're doing cool things like game rating. We'll do day parting with this. So anything that can really fit into your programmatic stack is something that we have a solution for. And then we get into the fun stuff. All right, so my goal when I joined Scuti, it is made up of some video game titans. We have the ex-COO of Blizzard on our board. We have the ex-general manager of Zynga. We have the gentleman that created the Fortnite franchise, the gentleman that created the Halo franchise. And my boss, our CEO and founder, he created in-game video advertising in 2004 with a company called Massive, which he sold in 2006 to Microsoft. So these guys have been known each other for years, and they were all consulting when they came up with the Scuti idea. I came in to be the business end of it and say, all right, how are we going to make this, there's so much that we're offering here. How do we make this make sense to a brand? So for the last 6 months, I've had my brand hat on and figured, what's the easiest way to get brands into this? Because like I understand, this is going to come probably from innovation budgets. Is this coming from your e-com team? Is this coming from your media team? I get it. I was there. So I figured, let's start with just the e-com, make it a revenue share, super simple for brands to sign up, very low risk. If you like what you're getting if you like what you're getting ROI-wise and experience-wise, we had the media. Pretty simple. These guys couldn't figure that out because they're game makers, right? So I have a job. But then we have all the really cool stuff that you get by working for a company of former video game makers. So we can do in-game integrations. I mentioned earlier, we never interrupt the player experience. So what I mean by that is, in this example with a soccer game or European football, I have to say that a lot because we're dealing with a lot of companies in Europe right now. If they click on the logo, the display, the billboard for any brand, it will not launch and interrupt the game experience. That's exactly what is against the fabric of our DNA. We're trying to do experiences where brands are actually looked at as a complement to the player experience versus an interruption. So unlike some current methods where there's pre-rolls between every level, or there's display on the sides of games and whatnot. Hey, it makes sense. The publishers need it. Players deal with it. But we tell the publishers, keep doing everything you're doing. We are just going to monetize from the lobby. The players are going to buy stuff that they would have bought anyway, but they're going to get rewarded. And that's what makes, like I mentioned earlier, that's what makes the ecosystem so unique, but actually has brands adding value to the player experience, because then they can use those Scuti rewards and they can do anything they want with them, from digital to physical goods. So I took a little tangent there, but that's all important, because once we start to get into these integrations, we're still not interrupting the player experience. This is like perfect time, place, right? I'm playing a game. We know exactly who your profile is, or maybe you've shopped CPG, men's grooming before. We'll serve you a Manscaped banner. If you click on that, the store launches after you close your game. So it's top of mind then. It doesn't interrupt your experience, and then you have an immediate e-commerce shopping experience after your casual game or your deeply involved game, maybe like soccer, is over. We also do in Metaverse integration. So really, I should call this in virtual world integrations right now, because again, Metaverse is still a bit in the ether. But we've partnered with a company called Universe. These are the guys that actually created the PlayStation Home, which is one of the first virtual worlds. It's the Sony team. So they're our partners in Metaverse integrations, virtual world integrations, and also advertising integrations. So again, in this case, after someone's enjoying their virtual world experience, if they click on any brand logo or want to discover more, we remember that. They exit their virtual experience, and there the Scuti store is waiting for them. And again, they've become accustomed to this because they've signed up for Scuti. They've put in their profile information, which I'll get to in a slide or two. So again, we know exactly who you are. They know Scuti will come before or after the game. And we're not creating too much of a new learned behavior here, because it's shopping that they're used to. We live in the lobby where they're used to playing with their avatars and whatnot, or setting up their avatars, picking their levels. We just now give them an opportunity to do these things in real life as well, through our curation and our targeting. I showed a lot of, I'll call it CPG, utilization brands, whatnot, brands that I've worked on my entire career. So I just wanted to throw this one up because I'm getting to do some really fun stuff with like movie studios. These movies launch, and they launch metaverses, and they sell a lot of merch. So we're also playing in that space now too. Building custom metaverses for custom cinematic experiences, and then building out their merch stores. NFTs. I guess you guys have probably heard a lot about NFTs over the last couple of days. If my CEO was here, he tends to polarize the room because he's got a very strong opinion on NFTs and who's doing it right and who's doing it wrong. I'm going to play Switzerland, and I'm just going to say we are in favor of NFTs with utility and with status. So what I mean by that, build an NFT, it's tied to the blockchain, and it records everything, right? So let's power that NFT up for utilization, because again, we're in video games and we're in virtual worlds. So these NFTs can actually, if I love New Balance and I buy these dope new kicks, right? I can put them on my avatar, and I can run faster, I can jump higher, and then guess what? I can go sell them on the blockchain, and now they're powered up. That's how we see the future of utility-based and status-based NFTs moving in the future. And again, we have a different partner other than Universe for building NFTs, a company called Epic.gg, very well known in the industry. And we can build any of these and put them in any games for you, again, as we start to go down the rabbit hole of what's possible with Scuti. Then last but not least, Metaverse as a service. So if you kind of look at the funnel I've created, I went kind of bottom top. At the very top, we can actually build Metaverse experiences for brands. So we're a full-service solution that can get you e-commerce at scale on a rev share ROI model, and then go as far to the left or the right or whichever way you're looking at me, and do something really high touch by actually creating a virtual experience, which we would then recommend putting the Scuti store on top of and running e-commerce and making that, getting the most ROI you can out of those dollars. So where is Scuti today? We're in our soft launch phase. We have just secured our seed round. We're well funded. We're already talking about Series A with some really exciting tech investors. So we are here to stay. And we've already signed up 15 publishers, which give us 40 million reach that we just haven't turned on yet, because I need to do a lot more programs like this and get some more big brands into the marketplace, because that's my job to build that, along with my sales team. So we'll be in Boston and Miami as well. And yeah, so we're working on building out the marketplace. So when we turn on the games, there's a great user experience, and there's enough for them to actually shop and be, we want discovery, curation, but we also want big brands to bring legitimacy to the platform. And I pulled out the brand slide because a lot of those are under NDA. So maybe some of you, if you're looking at each other, you're secretly working with us right now. That'll all be announced in the next couple of weeks. So I mentioned with soft launch, we're waiving all setup fees. I want to get as many reputable companies, as many reputable partners as I can into the marketplace to begin with. Let's test, learn. It'll be a very low, what I'll call out-of-pocket investment. Understand there's the human capital investment, but that's also what my team is responsible for doing, because we've been in your shoes to try to make it as seamless as possible to get the most ROI out of all of the time and money put into a soft launch phase. But then once we hit July, we are going to start rolling, and this is because we're actually, let me take a step back. In July, we launched our new UX, our new UI, and everything that the demos that I showed you, those will go live in about 3 or 4 days. So we are like literally coming out of the gates really strong right now. So I'm so psyched to be here today and share this with you all. If you download the Scuti app, or if you go to any of the games that we're in right now, it's a very different looking UX that doesn't have all the utility I'm explaining. So again, that disappears in a couple of days. We have our soft launch, which will run through July, where we're not in as many games as we will be post-July. And that's because a lot of the companies that we've signed on so far will be launching then, and we can really start to get this full ramp. By the end of 2023, 90 million. By the end of 2024, 150 million. What's exciting about this is we've been approached by some large games like Candy Crush, like EA, like Sony. None of those projections are in here. So we're in a kind of the vein of under promise and over deliver in terms of everything from investment to audience size and what have you. I mentioned shopper profiles. So as we're also entering a world of cookieless data, we are a cookieless data platform because all of the data that we collect is self-reported. And what I mean by that is, as part of the Scuti loyalty program, or the rewards program that incents them to keep coming back and why they would buy from us versus Amazon, we also offer Scutis for the amount of information they give. So we gamify like the category shopping experience. Are you interested in pet food? Yes, no. Electronics, babies, CPG, et cetera, et cetera. Every answer that they give us, we give them Scutis for. So we continue to build their piggy bank, right? Build their credits with us. We get more data. We can curate better for the brands. We will give them Scutis all day long because they have utility in our marketplace. So it's kind of a closed environment, but the closed environment is the entire video game ecosystem and the entire virtual world ecosystem. And they can use it for virtual goods or physical goods. So it's a massive ecosystem, but they have to spend it within Scuti. So that's why we'll double rewards that brands give. We'll give rewards for more information because they're ultimately going to spend it back with us, and it's going to keep them more engaged. It's going to keep them seeing more media. It's going to keep them wearing my stuff. And you see this symbiotic, and I'm even doing this involuntarily. because it's that natural. Moving on to reporting. So after we gather all this information, and whether we run media or we run brand integrations, we have all this great e-com, all this e-com opportunity. Reporting is going to be very standard, exactly what you'd expect, with then some of the additional twists and flavor that Scuti gives you. So of course, audience demographics, geography, conversions, all that important stuff. Again, so you need to fit in your media dashboard. I was like the worst, making sure my agency and my partners could get everything into the dashboard that I needed, because I have 8 million partners and it needs to be consistent. So we're making sure it's consistent. So again, it's not more difficult for you all to test and incorporate Scuti. But then we're going to give you things like player reviews, what's socialized. This is great for market research. It's literally free research. It's people talking about your brand in the video game marketplace. Think how much we spend on social and social listening and what we do with that. This is like a value add that we're going to give you coming out of a very different environment. Thank you. Thank you.